Hi there, this is Angelina and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of my Data Analyst project series. Part 1 focused on cleaning and exploring data with SQL. Now this part, which is the part 2, focuses on visualizing data with Tableau. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, do well to see it, and then let's get into part 2 and visualize some data with Tableau. So for this part of the project, we are going to use Tableau to do the visualization, okay? Now with Tableau, you can have either Tableau Public, which is the free version, or Tableau Desktop. Now when you go with Tableau Desktop, you're supposed to have a free trial for 14 days, and after that, you may have to either pay for it or just uninstall it for now. But for this project, I want us to be able to publish it to Tableau Public after we are done with our dashboard. So we will go with Tableau Public. So you have to put in your email. So go to this website, which I'll share in the description, or just go to Google. Let me see how I got here. 1 second. Yeah, just type in Tableau Public download and then go to the first link, type in your email just like I have done, then download the app. Okay, now I have already downloaded the app and I have installed it. So go through the installation just like you would with any other application that you install on your Windows computer. So now that I have already installed the Tableau Public, this is how it looks like. You can go to your search at the bottom there and just type in Tableau Public and then just click on it to just see this window that I have here. Now, the difference between Tableau Public again and the desktop is the data sources that is available for connectivity. The public is free, hence there are some restrictions as to how many things you can connect to. This is the desktop version. Obviously, there's a difference. For the desktop version, you can connect to SQL Server and a whole lot of sources directly. Now, the free version, which we are about to use for this course, okay, we can only connect to text, JSON, Excel, and probably Google Sheets, I believe. Yeah, Google Sheets. So what we can do, next, cancel this. What we can do next is to prepare our data into a text file so that we can use it in our Tableau Public. We already used SQL Server in part 1. So this time around, we are going to use SQL Server to extract data into a text file and then upload it here for visualization. All right, minimize this. So I'll go back to SQL Server. I have already created a view, and this is the definition of the view. I'm saying that select the sector. I did a join to the SBA public data that we have been using in part 1, and I joined it to the descriptions that we cleaned as part of the cleaning of data with SQL. So I did a join to that, an inner join, and I've selected the sector, the year, the month, originating lender, and whole other data points that I would like to use in my visualization. And then I hit a create view. So because I already run the script, it's already present here under my views, okay? PPP main. So if I select it, this is how it looks like. Uh-oh, I thought it would be fast enough. Okay, there we go. So this is how it looks like. The next thing we would do is to use the same tool that we had used in part 1 to import data from CSV to database. We are going to use that same tool to export data from database to a text file. So I'll go to Visual Studio. This is the same package. I'm just going to drag and drop another data flow task on top here. And I'll rename this to export data from DB to TXT, okay? And I'm going to go into the configuration, only DB source, because we are pulling the data from a database. We already connected to our portfolio DB, which I showed how to create a connection in part 1. And I'm trying to select a view. The options here are table of view or SQL command. I could go ahead and say select star from PPP main, okay? That is the name of the view. And when I go to columns, it should show, right? Cancel this. I can also do this. just go with the table of view, and it will give me a list of views and tables present in my database to select. Now I'm going to select this, and I'll go to columns. All right, these are all the columns that I need, and I'll hit OK. The destination is a flat file destination, so I'll drag and drop my pipeline onto that, configure that. I'll create a new one. Okay, it went on my other screen. I'll create a delimited flat file, delimited by comma. Okay, I'll hit OK, and then I'll my destination. I want it to come here into this folder. Now let me copy that, paste. Okay, then browse to that location. Now, what do I want the text file to be called? I want to call it Tableau Data Source. And I'll hit open. Well, I said I want the text file, so I wouldn't change the extension here, txt. So I'll hit open, and I'll say yes to metadata. And then for the text qualifier, I'll put in quotation here again. I already explained that part in this piece in part 1. And I'll call my connection string Tableau source, Tableau data source or something. All right, now this checkbox here, column names in the first data row. Column names in the first data row. When we check this box here, we are saying that the names that are coming from the database should be the headers of each column, okay? So when I go to columns, so I'll see sector year approved. Assuming I didn't check that box, I'll probably see F1, F2, like the way Excel names columns, right? So now I'll go to advanced. Mapping looks good. I'll hit OK. I'll go to mappings. Everything is mapped. All right, now I can execute this. I do not know how long it will take to execute, so probably I may have to pause it, but let me right click and execute task. Let's go into it and see. Okay, I don't think I want to pause it. It looks like it will load pretty fast. I have about 1.5 million rows. Perfect, it's done already. All right, so the file is here. This is what we just created. So let me copy this path because I'm going to use that in Tableau. So I'll go here, stop the job, the package, come here, minimize this, or just go back to Tableau Public. And we are going to connect to text, okay? Now, this is the place that I want to select my file from. This is the one we just created. I'll select that and hit open. So now the text file has been imported here as our source. That's why we see Tableau source txt here. Now, if we want to preview the data that we just imported, we can hit the update now here to just preview the data that we imported. All right, so this is it. It looks like exactly how SQL rendered the data. So we are ready to move on to the next step. Now, just to go over a few things on Tableau here. So we have the data source tab, and we have the sheet, which is the worksheet. And then you can create multiple worksheet here, okay? And then there's a dashboard. So the worksheet is where you create your first visualization, and you can create multiple of those. And then the dashboard is where you consolidate all those worksheets that you have created. So all those individual visualizations that you have created, you will use the dashboard to consolidate and then, share with whoever you need to share it with. Okay, now that our data is ready, let's go to sheet 1. Perfect. Now, before we build anything, okay, I just want to show you the outcome of what we are about to build, okay? I've already done this, so I just want to share what I've built already so that, at the end of the process, I expect that we come up with this same visualization that I have here. We would have the map from the borrower state, we have the bar charts from the sector, and then we have the top 10 or top 15 originating lenders, and then we have the PPP summary. Now, this is a dashboard, like I explained. It's a combination of worksheets. So I have the individual worksheets that I created to be able to accomplish this dashboard. So at the end of the process, this is what I expect that we build. All right, so now let's get into building it. I'll rename this tab, the first sheet, to PPP loan population. Okay, now this is going to be a summary. So I would start with number of approved, which is the count of the PPP loans that were approved in either 2021 or 2022. Then I'll show the approved amount. The approved amount is the sum of the initial approval amount. Remember, in our data dictionary, we had the sum of current approval amount and initial approval amount. This is the initial approval amount. The next thing that I'll show is the average loan size. And then I'll also show the forgiveness amount. Okay, now I do not want the data to render like this. So I'll go to show me here at the top right, click on that, and I'll change it from horizontal bars to text tables. Okay, this is how I want the data to show. And I don't think I want my columns, my headers or title to be in a row. I want them to be in columns. So what I can do is I can drag the measure names to columns. Perfect. So this is how I want it to render. Okay, let me open this up a little bit so that the name, yes. All right, now I'm going to do some movements here just to arrange the data like the way I want it to present. So I want to move the numbers to the very first column and then the forgiveness amount to the last column. So I'll do this. I'll move numbers all the way to the top. Then the amount forgiven will come down. And then loan size, average loan size. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. Now what we can do is that we can add some formatting. But before we do the formatting, remember the PPP loans are for 2 different years. They were approved for 2 different years, 2020 and 2021. So now that we have this summary here, I want to be able to also determine which or how much was for 2020 and for 2021. This is the overall, right? So I'm going to drag my year here. Okay, hold on. So you see this icon. The ABC here means it's a dimension or it's discrete, like a descriptive field. Now this one here, the icon here is like the hash, pound, maybe that's what they call it. That is number. The data point appears to be numeric. But then because I want to use it as a filter, I want to convert it to a discrete data point. Okay, so I'll click on the arrow here and convert to discrete. Okay, so now the year approved is a descriptive column, and I'll drag and drop that to my filter here. I'll select both of them and then I'll hit OK. All right, we don't see anything yet. What I can do, let me minimize the show me here. What I can do is that I can click on this icon here or the arrow down here and I'll say show filter. It should appear on the right. So right now, if I deselect 2021, we see only the 2020 data. And then if I deselect everything, yeah, it went blank. Now this is only for 2021, okay? Now let me select all of them. Perfect. What I can do is that I can also drag to change the color. I can drag the year onto the color here, the marks, okay? Once I did that, you see that a legend has appeared on the right. So the blue is for the year 2020 and the orange or yellow, I think orange, is for 2021, okay? Now let's do some formatting here. Let's go to format and go to shading. I just want to change the background color. So I'll go to sheet, default worksheet. I'll change this to, what is this color? Blue. Maybe let me stick to this. I also want to go ahead and make the headers bold. I mean the column headers bold. So I'll go back to text. Is that the header and make it bold? Oh, I already did that. Okay, then I want to give it colors. So go back to shading and headers. I want to give it, what is this color? Yeah, I'll stick to this. And I'll close out the formatting pane. Okay, so now we have our, okay, let me also change the title of the worksheet. So as you rename your worksheet, it appears to have given it a title here, but if you click on it, it would tell you to rename it, assuming you want the title of the worksheet to be different from the name of the worksheet. Then you have the chance to do that. But this is the case. I do not want to do any different name. However, I want to be able to edit it or modify it. So, sorry, format it. So I'll just type it in here again, PPP, loan population. And then I'll select all that. I'll hit bold and I'll change the color here to either blue or green. I'll stick to blue and I'll hit apply. Okay, I think it looks good. So now my first summary is done. My first worksheet is done. So let's move on to the next. Did I actually center this? Let me go back to format. Shading, let me go to text. Is it text? Header. No, go back to alignment. Header, I want to center it. Perfect. This is how I want it to look. I think one thing I'm missing here is that I can also add, not like it means anything, but just to show you how to do it. I would add the forgiveness amount. Let me convert this to something called the quick table calculation, and I'll see the percentage of total. Okay. So I am showing the percentage of total here. So now I can drag the same data point, which is the amount forgiven, and bring it back here, just so I don't lose the original amount I created. All right. All right. So this will be it for the summary. Okay. The next thing I would do is go to another worksheet. And on that worksheet, I'm about to create another visualization called total. No, percent total by sector. Percent total by sector. Okay. And that is going to be a bar chart. So what I can do, I can drop my sector onto the columns. And then, okay, so for the PPP population, I think I use the initial approval amount, which is the amount at originations. I'm going to use the current approved amount here. I'll put it on the rows. Looks good. Now let me change the order to descending. So highest to smallest. And then what I can do is to add the year filter again. You know what we can also do this. Go back to sheet 1, okay? Now for this year approved filter, I want it to be present on all the worksheets that I'm about to build. So what I can do is I click on this and say apply to worksheets. And I'll choose all using this data source. So for all the worksheets I'm about to build, and they're all using the Tableau data source here at the top left, this filter will apply to them. So I'll select this, and now you see the icon change. When I go back to this worksheet, it should be present. Perfect. I would just show the filter on the right as well. Good. And I think I will also want to add the color. Do I want to do that? No. For now, let me do the text. Let me show the amount and then convert that to percent as well. Quick table calculation, percent of total. Yes, this is how I like it to look like. Perfect. And then I want the year to be on the color. Do I want to maintain? And if you don't like the colors that you are presented with, you can click on the color icon here and edit colors. Let's say for 2020, I want the bars to be green. Select 2020 and hit the color. For 2021, and probably I want it to be yellow. Select that year and hit the color. Apply. You see that? It changed. So we are almost done with the second visualization. I want to hide this sector because I already gave it a title here. So I'm going to click on this, right click on that and say hide field labels for columns. All right, it's hidden. So let's see if the filters work. 2021 is gone. Perfect. It's back. 2020. Good. All right, so now the tooltip is the items you see when we highlight a bar, right? So we see the sector name, we see the year approved, and we see the percentage of the total amount given, right? Now we want to be able to add, well, we see the year, so that's good. I think this report is actually complete. Let me just format my title here. So I would do percent total by sector. And I'll select all that and I'll hit bold and change the color to, what is that? I think it works. Okay. Do I want to rename this total percent of total current approval amount? Okay, I think I'll leave everything as is right now. So visualization 2 is done. And the filters are working, 2021, everything is working as expected, okay? Now, cancel this, deselect that. Let's move on to the next one. The third visualization we will create is the amount approved by borrower state. Amount approved by borrower state. Now, when we go to show me, you see map is here. We have two maps, but you are not able to select any of the map because we do not have any data point that suggests to Tableau that we may need to use a map. So what I can do on the borrower state is that I can convert this to a geographic role, okay, to state or province. Immediately I did that, the icon here has changed to like a globe, I think, and now we have a latitude and the longitude. So I would use the longitude here in my columns, and I'll use my latitude here in the rows. And now you see the map is highlighted here. Means we have a data point that is of a geographic role, and hence we can use the the map. The next thing I would do is that I would drag my current approval amount onto um, here, maybe onto the color. Nothing showing here yet. Okay, I need to also drag my borrower state itself into the text. All right, so now what we have done is that the borrower state, we want to show the state on here in the map, and then I drag the sum approval amount onto the color. That means that per the amount approved by a state, the color should change. So it appears that the highest approval amount is in blue, and then the least approved amount is in somewhat blue or green. We can change the color by going to edit colors, going to colors and edit colors, and then change this to, what did I use previously? Green gold, okay? Now I can choose either reverse. So you see the yellow is on the left and the green is on the right. When I choose reverse, meaning that the smallest amount should be green and then the highest amount should be yellow. But I don't want to, let's apply that and see. No, that's not how I want it. So I'm going to uncheck that, apply, and then hit OK. Now this pane here is going to help us zoom or move the map to to center it how we want it. So I'm going to hit the pan here, this one, select on that, and I'll zoom. I mean, let me minimize the show me. Although we appear to have some data point in here, for now I would consider them outliers. They are not outliers, but for the sake of the visualization sake, I wouldn't show that. I'm only going to focus on this part of the map to show all the states. And then there's one cool thing we can do. We can change the background of the map. So let's go to map here at the top, background maps. Let's see normal. Okay, that looks good. Let's go back here and change it to dark. I mean, it looks good per your discretion. You can choose any background that you want, assuming you are following along with me. I don't think I want to stick to the dark background. So let me change this to, let me see what the street is. Oh, this is also nice. I see the ocean and all that, but then let's check all of them out before we move on. Outdoors. I don't think I saw a change for the outdoors, but let's see what the satellite. Okay. This is also neat. This is cool. Maybe I should just use this. Yeah, so I'll use the, no, I don't. Go back to maps. Sorry, I'm wasting time on this. Now I'll choose normal and I'll stick to this. The next thing I want to do is that I want to change the name. Let me see the tooltip. The tooltip is like when you highlight a particular state, what are the information I want to see? I see the state and I see the current approved amount. Maybe I can add the year to the tooltip. Okay, because I have multiple years, it didn't work as expected. It shows star, but let's say I show the filter on the right, show filter, and then I select only 2020. You see now the year is showing as expected. Okay, so I'll leave this as that, and then I would change the header. I mean, not change, but I'll format the header. Current approved, no, amount approved. Oh, I can type. Approved by borrower state. And select all of that, change the color to that and hit bold. I said that because I don't want to make a mistake with the color. It looks like blue to green, bluish, green, blue, green. I don't know. I'll hit OK. And now I think my approved amount per state is complete. So basically what we have done here is that we are showing per the individual states in America that the borrowers were approved for. California in green appeared to have taken the most, followed by Texas, and then down to New York, and then maybe Florida, because the least amounts are in the color yellow per the legend on here. Okay, so this is good. I think I will move on from here. Let me, this looks pretty good. And again, you see we didn't drag the filter in here, but because we have already done our settings on the first worksheet, it appears on any other worksheet that we create. So this is looking good. I will stick to, let me just check the color again. It looks good, but I just want to go with maybe this one. Perfect. All right, so this visualization is done. The next thing I would do is the top 15 by originating lender. It appears to be the smallest, not even the nicest visualization, but is the one that requires the most work. So I'll rename this to top 15 by originating lender. Now, I'm saying this is the most difficult or the most challenging one to do is because we are going to do because I would have to create multiple calculated fields, field parameters here, and I even have to create a set to be able to come up with a top n or top whatever 9, 10 value that I want to select. So that is why I think it's the most challenging to do. So the first thing I would do is that I will create a parameter, and I'll call this parameter top originating lender, okay? Top originating lender. Let me just say 15. And for the current value, let me just put 5. Now I want a list, sorry, a range. And I want the minimum to be 1, but the maximum that I ever want any user to select for this parameter should not be more than 20. So let me stick to 20 here. Did I not put 5 here? Let me stick to 5. And then I would change this to integer, the data type. So I hit save here. Now the parameter has appeared at the bottom left. Let me drag it up here so that you see that. The next thing I want to do is that I want to create a set. Now I want to create a set on the originating lender, okay? Because that is where I am going to select the top 15 or the top 10 from. So I'll click on this drop down here and I'll say create set. And for the set, let me now remove all the names. Let me just call it top n, because the n will be when you get your parameter, you're going to be able to change it. I said 15, but you can make it 10. So top n originating lender. by what? By current approved amount. So I'll just say current approved. I need one more R. And for this option here, I would choose top. Now on the top, I'll go with the by field, and then I'll select my parameter here, the top originating lender, 15. I'll select that, and I want that to be calculated on the approved amount, current approved amount, like a sum. So I will stick to this, and I'll hit OK. Yes, this is all that I want to create for this particular piece. Now I can start by dragging and dropping the new set that I created onto my rows, and then I'll add the originating lender onto the rows as well. I'll add all members, and then the sum. Let me put it here in the columns. Okay. Now let me order this a little bit. Okay, because I put in my parameter, you see that I put in the current value, edit, the current value I put 5. So that's why immediately we see 5 here. Okay, I think what I want to do next is that I want to create a, sorry, I want to create another calculated field. And I want to call that a label, because I want to replace the in out label here, and I want to give it like a very meaningful label. Let me call it subset label. Okay, and then I would do some function here. I would say if my my set, then as in if the data is in my set, then top this 15, I'll call this, plus I'll name this originating lenders. Originating lenders. Else, everything else would be considered other. No, maybe others with an S. Then I'll end my function. Okay, now I have an error. What does it say? String and integers. Oh, I see why. I see why. So I am putting quotations here, double quotations here, meaning I have a string, but then my parameter here, when I was creating, remember I set it to integer right here, integer. So I have to I have to cast this to string. So the way you do that in Tableau is just type in str, meaning string, and then your expression. So I have changed that and my calculation is valid. So I'll hit OK. Now I'll drag and drop the subset that I just created in between here. Okay, so now this is the label that I want. Top 5 originating lender. Everything else is others. Perfect. So now let me hide this. Click on this in-out subset that we created, our set we created, and uncheck the show header here. Good. Good. So now I seem to have everything that I need. No, not everything, but let me show the filter here. Show filter. And then over here too, I want to show parameter on the right as well. It's looking good so far. Okay, let me try this. Did it change? 1, 2, 3. It changed. Let me try this one more time. Perfect. The next thing I want to do is that I want to change the name. I mean, format the name and also change the number here so that once I toggle this parameter, the number would show in the header as well. So I'm going to do top and do my 15 for now by originating lender. I bet my keyboard is very loud. And I'll change this to blue. And I'll go bold on this one. And then I want to insert my top 15 parameter here. So let me clean this. Apply. Okay, now I have 10. So the header, the title has changed to 10. Let me hit OK. Let me change this again. Perfect. Now, the next thing or the last thing I want to do is that I want to be able to hide, like group everything else like other, which we already have done, but then I want to hide them, categorize all of these as one. you know. So the top 12 plus the address. I don't want to see all the details of the address. So I'm going to create a parameter here, and I'll call this parameter expand or collapse. And I would change this to a string, and I'll put expand here as, no, maybe say collapse, because that's the default I want. Collapse, and then the current value, I'll leave it as that. I'll go to list, and then I'll type in the values. I want only two values, expand, and then I want collapse. Collapse. This is looking good. I'll hit OK here. Now I'm about to use this to create another calculated field, and I'll use that calculated field I'm about to create to replace this originating lender. So this is what I mean. So I'll go to create calculated field. I would open on my other screen, and I'll call it originating lender. Okay, originating lender, and this is the calculated field, so I'll call it calc. Now I want to do a function. I'll say if my collapse, this here, sorry, if it's equal to collapse, then do what? No, one more if. So I'm going to do a nested if, because I need to also use my set here. And if this value or this set, let me make sure my indent is working, then, okay, I miss my then here, that's why I get this quick little red lines. Then originating lender, okay, tab, else, consider those adders, and then I'll end this function, end this one. But because I have already started another if clause here, I have to end that one as well. So I'll go to else, sorry, end, and I'll go to else. Let me drag my originating lender, and I'll end. Now, is this going to work? Okay, it's valid. So I'm saying that if my parameter is equal to collapse, then, okay, only do this if condition, only do this inner condition if my parameter is equal to collapse, okay? If my parameter is equal to collapse, and if my set evaluates to true, then show me the originating lenders, or else group everything else as adders, and then close this clause. Perfect. That's what I want to achieve. Now I'm going to use that to replace this. I'm going to drag it on top of it. Okay. Okay. Now let me order it again. So let me change this to top 9. It's working. Now let me show this parameter as well, show, and let me hit collapse. I hope it works. Oh yes, this is what I want to achieve. Why is my ordering not working though? Okay, it's working. I think I got confused with my address here. Obviously, those will be a lot. Now, the reason why I want to change this to a table is because of this effect that I had here. The address are a lot, and they seem to have a long bar chart here, and I do not want to present the data like this. So I change this to a table. So I'll go back to show me, and then I'll change this to um, text tables. Perfect. Okay, let me open this a little bit wider here. Okay, and then I would just open this a little bit wider as well. Top 10 originating lenders, and toggle this again. Go back to, I can either type it in. Oh, no, I cannot. Okay, let me keep going. It's changing, it's changing. Yes, it changes in my title, and it changes in my subsets label as well. Now, I think what I can also add is the color. So let's say we filter to the year. Let me just use my subset, sorry, my set in the color, and see how it. Remember, the set gave me two output. It gave me an in and it gave me an out. The in is what is part of my top 15. So it shows that the amount in blue. And then the ones that are out are the ones that I do not need to see. I categorize them as others and it showed those in gray. But then if I do not want that, let me see how, okay, the year thing works. Okay. But if I do not want that, I could also change, I could use the year. Let me use the year instead. Okay, the year works. However, it shows, so the green, okay, when you hover onto that, you see the year 2020 is in green and the year 2021 is yellow. And it's picking the colors from our settings that we had done on the previous sheet. Because we are saying that this filter should show on all worksheet, all the formatting that we've done for the year is also showing in the new worksheets or workbooks that we are creating. So I think I'll remove this, or should I keep this? Maybe I'll keep it. The original image I showed you, I didn't show them like this, but let me just remove this year thing and probably do the in out on the color and do some formatting and give it a background color, go to shading and go back to the worksheet, and I'll change this to probably that. Nope, 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 it's not working. I probably will go with this. Okay, I'll leave it as this. No. Okay, I'll go with this color, background color. I do not know exactly what it's called here, but I think we are done on our individual worksheets. We created a summary, we created a percentage by sector. We can make this wider. When I say wider, I can just, where are you? Okay. Or we can, choose to leave it as it was. Now we have the map. This is cool. So now we see the state. And if we toggle, let me close out this formatting pane, and we see the year. Everything is working as expected. Now we are at the point where we create the dashboard. So look at this icon here. This is the worksheet. We do not need to create any more worksheet. Now we're about to build our dashboard. So I'll click on this icon here. And I want to call this, rename the dashboard. I'll call it PPP summary dash. Dash here means dashboard. And then I would change the page, the canvas, or the size of my layout. I'll change it from range to automatic. And now I have a big space to work with. So the first thing I will pull, let me pull my bar chart. Okay, it appears to have taken all the space, but that's okay. It hasn't taken everything. We can fix it. So the next thing I'll pull, I'll drag and drop onto my dashboard is the map. I'll put it on top like that. Okay, so immediately it has divided the page to show the map at the top and the sector at the bottom without actually, drawing any lines. Once you drag and drop a sheet, you can find a place to, dump it or drop it. The next thing I will pull is my table, and I'll put it on the left. Now this table shows me the top 15, and where is my parameter? Okay, I want my parameters to be on top. So how would I achieve that? And the next thing I would do is I would drag my summary. I could have started with the summary, but no, I didn't. I'm just going to drag and drop these items here. Let me move this on top here. I like to see this here. And I want the expand collapse here. Do I really need this in out on my dashboard? No, I do not. So let me cancel for now. I don't want to make any change that would affect my actual worksheet. So drag and drop this up. I have my year. The legend is on top. My filters, let me bring the filter up rather than drag this onto that. Okay, so I made a quick change. So the year is on top. The year approved, the parameter is on top. The legend is right beneath it so that if you make a change, you see which color is for what. And then we have the parameter that changes the table to, top. Let me see if it works on the dashboard. It does work. Perfect. And then we have this for the expand collapse. Okay, so expand, you see the numbers change because everything is now showing now collapse. The numbers are going to change. All right, let's make this beautiful by closing up a few more spaces in here. Yeah, I'll go with this. And now I would drag this up a little bit, this one here. Perfect. And instead of probably top 15, for the sake of rendering this and showing everything else that is on that sheet, I'll go with 10, 11. Okay, 9. Let me see 10. It's still not bad. I'll choose this. So let me make this wider to cover the white space on the right. And I'll make this again wider. Okay. So the dashboard, I believe, is complete. I have my population. I have my top 10. I started with the top 15, but now that we have a toggle, I mean, I can change it to whatever I want as long as it's not over 20. Now I have the percent by sector. So let's see if the filters actually work. So the filter should affect all the dashboards because all of them have the year parameter. But I think I want to zoom in or zoom out. How do we say it? Either ways, I want to do some type of zoom. And I want to make this bigger. Am I losing anything? Yeah, this looks better. It looks pleasing to the eye. I'll stick to this regardless. Let's create another dashboard. This is, I would call this final and keep this as what we intended to create. And then after everything, we are going to publish. But just for a quick test, I want to drag my bar chart here. Sorry, change this canvas or layout to automatic to cover all the page. And then I would choose this here. Then I'll put my map, where is my map? On the left, like that. Now with the map, I'll bring on top of the map my table, like that. And then on top of the table, I want to put my summary, like that. Now this is what I think I want to do so that the bar chart will have its own space. But I think it's, well, let me drag this up a little bit. And then, do I need to open this up? Do I need to open this up? Yep. I just want it to align with the top table here. Oops, didn't mean to touch that. Alignment. All right, I'll stick to this. But then if I close it out, it's going to shrink my map as well. It doesn't matter. I think it looks good regardless. Now let me hit the pen here. Probably zoom it a little bit more. Yeah, this is what I was trying to do by changing what I had originally intended to show. So this is what I created before, and this is another way to arrange it. So now that we are completely done, let me call this PPP summary -2, summary dash new. Okay. Now the original one I intended to create, and this is what I showed you before we started. I said I was going to help you create this, and which we have done. So we have our map, we have our bar chart, we have our table, and we have our summary. Exactly what we have here, right? Okay. All right, so the final thing we need to do is that we are going to publish this to Tableau Public, okay? Now that we have two different dashboards, we can either publish this or that. I'm going to stick to the original design. So I'll go to File, okay? And I'll say Save to Tableau Public As. And if you haven't already logged in, it would ask you for your email and password. If you don't already have an account with Tableau Public, I do. And I'm going to call this PPP Summary Dash. And I'll save this. Okay, it's sending the data to Tableau. Still sending the data, a few more seconds left, then we'll see what we get. Nice. So here we go. Our workbook has been published on Tableau Public's website. And now the name that I gave it when I was publishing it, PPP Summary Dash, is here and it's by me. So whoever publishes another one, you have it by your name, just like I have. It's my account. So now this link you can copy and share with anyone. So let's say you want to share this with your employer or anybody to just prove that you can create Tableau dashboards, you are capable of working with Tableau. You can create these and keep it as your portfolio, and then you share wherever is necessary. Okay, so this is what we have here. Let me go to full screen, and then everything is looking as we built it in the Tableau Public app. We have the other, we have the summaries, we have the map, and then we have the bar chart. So assuming we deploy the second dashboard we created, we give it another name, it will show up as well. All right, and over here too, the parameters will work. There we go. All right, I said don't show me anything. So 2021, there we go. You see here on top here is only one. Now if I go all, I will see two and things are moving. Perfect. So this brings us to the end of part 2 of the project series. Part 3 of the series focuses on exploring data with Python. So stay tuned for that part. And thank you for watching.